Hey guys, it's Robert here, and today I want to talk to you about relationships and especially about the balance within relationships. Because oftentimes, if you're in a relationship for a couple years or even longer, a couple decades, then what happens usually is that there is a routine or an automatism that is resulting from habits. And out of that pattern of habits, usually there is a structure that emerges and that will cause, well, friction on one way or another way, and or at least on some levels. What we have in the beginning of a relationship usually means that, things are passionate, things are on fire, things are adventurous, things are amazing. And this is, a phase that usually doesn't last that long, somewhere between a year and 2 years at best. But after that, the tendency is that things just settle down a bit, and the being in love turns to having love for each other, but also having the routine within the relationship. And if that lasts long enough, then usually what happens is there is some sort of a power struggle. And the power struggle usually means that, one person and the other person, they either fight for what they really want, or they lose interest in another, or they just grow separate from each other. And they can still stay together, but they don't really have a happy relationship. So in one way to really go back to the source is to, first of all, to know that you love yourself. If you haven't seen that video, then check that out of mine. On the other hand, it's also reconnecting with each other and the willingness to really reconnect. One of my great inspirations is Tony Robbins, and he said, if you treat your relationship at the end of your relation, at the end like it was the beginning, then you will never have an end. And I think in that sense, he's truly coming from a profound statement or from profound knowledge and experience, where if you have the habits and routines that you had in the beginning, then there will never be an ending to your relationship. And especially if you're willing to explore and be adventurous in that sense, and to see what changed you in the last couple of years. How did you develop yourself, and how can you use that transformation that you went through? First of all, that is, kind of like a soul searching, because oftentimes we don't know how we changed unless you look back at the last couple of years. But if you're really going into that, then you can see, hey, this is how I changed. And from that point on, you can really come to your partner and say, look, I value this the most at this point. I really find this important right now. And this is what I need, or this is what I need to be able to be flourishing in my relationship with you. And not going into the point of blaming, where you say, I'm not satisfied with this, or I'm not satisfied with that, or I lack the spontaneity, or I lack the passion, or I lack the wildness, or I lack the certainty, or I lack the connection. This is a problem stated mindset, and instead of coming from a problem stated, then I would definitely recommend going for the solution option, which is, I see that this is not working for me. What is it that I would really like in my relationship? On the other hand, it's also important that you're definitely willing to come from the point of reconnecting again. So it's great that you can find for yourself what it is that you want right now, or that, has changed in the last couple of years, and what you desire right now, and to be able to communicate about that towards your partner, but also to have the willingness to say, wow, I see that you've changed as well. And maybe they haven't changed on the outside, but for sure they have changed on the inside. And looks can be deceiving in that sense. Coming from the point where you're curious enough to say, hey, what is it that you need as well? And how can I be of service to you? Maybe that's a little bit of an overstatement word-wise, but how can I be there for you? That is definitely a thing that is so important, because oftentimes we think that we have to come from the point where, what's in it for me? Where am I, and what am I getting? On the other hand, if you truly want to be compassionate and fulfilling, and have a relationship that's really sparkling and on fire, then also come from the point of giving. And in order to create this balance, usually what is happening, at least from my experience, is that one person is really a lot giving and the other person is really a lot taking, or neither of us is really giving and both of them are taking. And in that sense, there is no balance. So the willingness to give and to receive, or to give and to take, or to allow, all those things are important. And coming from the point of willingness where you say, I love you really a lot, you really mean a lot to me. I just forgot how important you are in my life. How can I be there for you? Instead of, what is it that I need? That really makes a difference in your relational life. Because again, from that point on, you look at the other person with curiosity and with interest and with fascination. And instead of coming from the point where you thought like, I know everything about this person, you really change your pair of goggles actually, or, your glasses. And you really say, hey, I see that I've been through a process of change. Did you go through the similar experience as well? What changed for you? And if the other person says, well, nothing changed, I'm still the same, then you can still be explorative. You can still be curious and say, well, tell me a bit about yourself. What is it that you really need? How, and this is a great question, how questions are always great, how can our relationship be improved? On what aspects can it be improved? Do you find that we have enough intimacy? Do you find that we have enough time together? Do you find that, we can do other things or explore new things to spice up our relationship? And by that, it can be anything. It can be from having a date night to having a cuddle evening, or just to watch a movie together on the couch instead of digging into your work, or, going for adventure on your own and still, but still really going for things that you're willing to do together. On the one hand, it's great to have your own time. It's absolutely fundamental and essential to have your own time. On the other hand, if you really want to have a sparkling and flourishing relationship, then definitely create some us time as well. And this is really, really important, because if you really want to have a quality relationship, then it also has to come from the point that you're willing to give what it is that you have, and not just focus on, I need. So, yeah. There's a group of people, I call them the empaths. They really know how to tune into other people, and they go for, what it is that they need. I used to be one of them. And it's very easy for this group of people to, especially in a relationship, to discard themselves and to just really put themselves in the second, third, fourth, or fifth, or 10th place for that matter, and lose control of where their boundaries are and how much they're, giving away from themselves. Because the point is not that you're giving away yourself. The point is that whatever it is that is inside of you, that's what you're capable of giving. And if you have no love for yourself, or if you have no self-esteem or no self-acceptance, then, you can't give that to other people. You can't give esteem, acceptance, and love to other people. It might look like you're caring for them, but underneath, oftentimes there is a point of neediness. So what you're giving is actually something that you take for yourself. And this is something that I talk about in another video. The real point is that, if you're an empath, then it's very important that you state what it is that you require as well, and ask your partner, look, honey, can you really be there for me? Can you really provide me with this? Or can you support me in this? Or would you be willing to spend some more quality time with me? And then be as specific as possible. Because again, and this comes from Marshall Rosenberg's book, Nonviolent Communication, everything that we do comes from a need, and the need that we have oftentimes is expressed by our emotion. So the positive and the negative, quote unquote, emotions, those are all signs and signals that, there is a need that is either fulfilled or not being fulfilled. And if you're capable of expressing that, especially as an empath, then you give a present to the other person where, they can fulfill your need if they're willing to. If you do this the wrong way, by the way, then it sounds like a demand. It sounds not even like a request. It really sounds like a demand, and you'll get either criticism, or you get rejection, or you get something that they really don't want to do. So that's for the empaths. If you're the other type of group in the relationship, if you're the one that's thinking like, okay, what is it that I can get? What is it that I need? And focus so much on yourself that, you're the most important person in your life. Well, first of all, that's great that you are the most important person in your life. But secondly, if you do really want to connect, then it's also important to check out, where is my partner at? Where is he hanging or she hanging out? What is it that they need? How can I provide? Again, how can I be of service to them? Because that, again, is very important. If you're very much focused on yourself, then, it's hard to focus on others. If you're very much focused on others, then it's very hard to focus on yourself. So for these type of people that focus a lot on themselves, it's good to reconnect with your emotion, to really reconnect with your belly in that sense, because that's where your emotion is. Your power center, which is usually somewhere in the heart, that is very, very strong. And this also relates to the chakras, but I won't go too deep into that right now. But if you really connect, not just from the mind, like, what is it that I need? What is it that I need? Because this is oftentimes the ego, and we go for pleasure, and we go for fulfillment, and we go for joy, and we go for passion. And all of those things are taking. All of those things are coming from the ego, and all of those things are coming from the taking part. And when you really want to connect with your partner, or you don't really want to connect with your partner, but you are taking a lot either from your partner or just in general in life, which is, the warrior type, as Carl Jung stated, then, you're in the fight mode, if you will, then, it's very good to sink down, to lower down from your mind into your heart and into your belly, and really, really connect from that point on, where you're capable of being vulnerable, where you're capable of being a person who can give and who can provide, or at least who can support from the point where you are providing, where you're giving to somebody, not because you want to get something back, but really the pure joy of giving. And oftentimes, by the way, what happens is that in our work, we give a lot. And then when we come home, we want to take, because, our tank of giving is empty and there's not much left. So we have to we have to take from other people in order to fill up our tank again. And again, this comes back to the point of self-love. Can you really love yourself enough to find the balance within you, where you give to the people that you work with, or your clients, if you are a business owner, but also fill up that cup yourself, and saying, what I do is really fulfilling and I love to give, but by giving I also receive, or I also enjoy, filling up that energy within me, that passion, that spark, that vibrant life within me. And then come home and say, this is not my work. This is my partner. And that is really important, because once you make the differentiation between your work and your personal life, which oftentimes is a very blurry line, then you can really say, this is a completely different part of my life, and I really want to be connected to this person, and not just take him or her for granted, and allow myself to be connected with that person by giving and by allowing myself to be supportive. So again, for the empaths, on the one hand, it's great that you're giving, and focus a little bit more on yourself. Ask for support from your partner. Ask if they can be there for you, which not all the time can be the easiest thing to do from your side, and on the other side cannot always be the easiest thing to do from their side, because again, it comes down to habits. We structurize our life based on habits, and even, giving or taking more than, the balance should be, that is a habit. On the other hand, if you are a taker, if you're okay with that label, then it's good that you're also coming not just from the point of taking, but really valuing the connection that you have with your partner, that special connection. I mean, you can find many different connections within your friendships and within your social life, but or even within your sexual life. But, really that special connection that you have, that love connection that you have, that inner strong bond that you have with each other, that is only something that you have with your partner. And from that point on, it's great that you find the capacity and the capability and the willingness to connect with that person. And again, if you're more a taker than you're a giver, that means that, it's good to practice that you question or you ask the other person, what is it that you need? How can I be there for you? How can I support you? Because this is definitely something that is important for them as well. What results in that is they will feel seen. On the other hand, they will value you more, and they're willing to give as well. If you switch that around from the empath perspective, if you ask for what it is that you need, or you put up your boundary, like, no, this is really actually important for me, the taker will value you more in that sense, because most of the time the taker in a relationship is being used to get, what it is that they want. And by putting up a boundary, and that doesn't mean that you have to put it up hardly, it just or hard or very sharp. You can say, look, I hear what you're saying, and at this point I can't do that for you, because I feel that, if I would do that, I come from the point of expectation, or I would come from the point of neediness, and that's not what I would like to give you. In that sense, you're setting up your boundaries still, and they will respect you more for that. They will actually see, hey, wow, this person is really interesting, because in the past, they've given everything that I requested for, whether it was big or small, and now they're actually standing up for themselves, and that makes me value them more, because they're more interesting, and because they're more visible. So again, from that point of view, if you're in this power struggle where you find yourself, quarreling about small things or quarreling about big things, check out for yourself. Where are you? Are you a taker? Are you an empath? Are you a giver in that sense? Are you coming from the ego and coming from I need, or are you coming from the point, oh, I need to provide, I give. Then, check out for yourself how you can regain that balance again by following the tips that I just gave you in this video. If you like this video, by the way, then please hit the like button, or the love button, if you will, if you really enjoyed it, and share it with people that you know, because, I think that on the point of relationships, or on the aspect of relationships, there's so much to learn, and there's so much knowledge to share that people can value from, so, they can really connect. I think, in my personal perspective, that other than self-fulfillment and self-achievement, in the point where you can really go for what it is that you want, having a true connection with that special person, with that partner, really comes on the second place. If you love yourself so much that you're overflowing from, whether it is confidence or self-acceptance or self-love or, passion for life or energy, that's what you can give to your partner. And you want to share that. It's great if you want to share that with friends, but that's still a different type of relationship that you have than when you have a really special and intimate relationship with your partner. So again, I hope that you like this video. Again, if you enjoyed it, then hit one of the buttons, like, love, or share. Leave a comment down below as well, based on the question, how are you standing in your relationship right now? Do you find any comparison by what I just explained in this video? Or do you say, well, I don't really know at this point, I'm at the beginning or at the end? Leave your comment down below, whether it's a question or a remark. I'd love to hear from you. I'd really love to hear where you're standing in the aspect or the field of relationships, and I'll be sure to follow up on you. For now, I wish you a great day, enjoy, and be sunny.